Hi, Namaste, Namaskaram, good morning, and Vanakkam. Welcome to today's program. Today I am going to cover DOL starter. It's a basic DOL starter. So I am going to cover how to select the BOM, what is the type 2 coordination, so what is the troubleshoot, how to design the circuit. So the basic things I am going to cover. Please do watch it till end, so you will get some information. So we'll go jump into the next slide. So contents, so application, what is the application we can use DOL starter, where and all we can use, and type of starters, so I'll go to cover, and selection of BOM, so how to select the BOM and what is the criteria to select the BOM, and the circuit design, how to design the circuits, so what is the variety of circuits we can able to design, and the function of the circuit, how it functions, how basic things we need to understand for the designing. So finally troubleshoot I'll going to cover. So what are the issues we'll face during the execution, during installation at site, and after installation also we'll face some problems. This I'll going to cover completely. So application, so where and all we are using generally. So if you take water irrigation projects, so big projects in the government projects, the water lifting irrigation projects they will use. So from one place to other place, it's a heavy motors, so which water lift and give it to the other locations, so that the water will go to the high level areas and all, from low level to high level. So water lifting, that is the irrigation projects we'll call it. And bore wells, we know everybody, so lift the water from the bore wells. Also the motors will become, depends on the depth of the bore well, the motor sizes will change from 1 HP to up to 30 HP, 40 HP also will get in bore well. And crane applications, you know, the cranes where industrial cranes will be there. So for the crane applications, normally motors will come in that also, starters will use. And crushing, stone crushing, you may be knowing, so it's a heavy motors, to use the stone crushing applications, also the starters we have to use. So it depends on the capacity of the motor, and what is the load, the jerk load or bulk load will going to come. So based on that our components and all we need to decide. And forging applications, where normally industries side if you go, automobile industry, forging applications, and tool and die making, all these places also the DOL starters will come. And industrial applications, rolling mill, so all these things the DOL starters can be used, and depends on the motor size, and the DOL or star delta will be decided based on the kilowatt of the motor. So, what are the types of starters available in the market? So if you come across DOL starters is a familiar one, everybody knows. So DOL starter is a direct online starters, which 7.5 HP less than motors capacity, everybody will use for the DOL starters, which initially the starting current will be more. It may take 5 to 6 times of rated current of the motor. So DOL starter will be used in that applications, where straightforward motors like water pumping applications. So different applications we can use in DOL starters. So next come to RDOL. So RDOL is reverse direct online thing. So whereas the forward and reverse can be achieved through this RDOL starters. So this is also direct online only, hence the starting current will be 5 to 6 times. We cannot reduce here also starting current. The next one is the soft starters, which using soft starters we can reduce the starting current of the motor rated current. So 3 times or less than 3 times we can able to control starting current from the through the soft starter if you use. And fourth one is VFD starters, where here also minimum 3 times, less than 3 times the full load current during starting it will take. So where this application will be used? So for example, we are having a malls and all excavators are there. So where we can use these PFD starters to adjust the speed according to our requirement. Uh, and where the roller mills will be there, so there also we can adjust the speed as per the application's requirement. Hence the motor controlling we can able to do through VFDs. Hence the VFDs are used in different applications based on the application needs, so it will be used. So now we are clear what is the DOL we required and what is the size of the motor. Everything we'll come to know, and we are decided to go for one starter particularly DOL or RDOL we are selected. So now the next process, we need to select the components. The components is the major role it will play here, because we need to refer the OEM type of chart which is type tested by the OEMs. We have to refer that one. There are different charts is available, which is type 1 and type 2 charts. So as per the type 1, type 2, we need to refer based on our application and our needs. We have to refer that one. Normally in the industries will go for type 2 coordination. Type 1 will not go. What is the difference between type 1 and type 2? If you see that the type 1 is human safety and installations will not going to harm anything, but only thing, if any short circuit happens without any repairing and without any replacement of the components, we cannot reuse, because that starters the internal any short circuit happens, that's it. We may have to change the components completely and we have to reuse the again application, otherwise it cannot come, because the contactors and all designed for type 1, which is only one time. So any short circuit major accident happens, it will take care, but it will cannot continue next operations. Type 2 coordination is not like that. So here also any short circuit happens, yes, of course here also damages will be there and we can replace small components, anything, but the majority of the components will not go, so we can continue replacing the minor things, and the second operation also we can able to achieve through the same setup whatever we have done. So that's why type 2 coordination will have multiple shots it can able to take. So that's why normally industry people will select for type 2 coordination. So we have to select the BOM according to the type 2 coordination as recommended by OEMs. This we need to consider always while selecting the BOM. So again, application wise, the combinations we can select MPCB you need, or MCCB you need, or MCBs you need, or SFU combination we required, or OLR combination we required. So there are varieties of combinations available based on OEM's recommendations. We need to go for what is our application need. So short circuit rating or any insulation requirement, all these things we need to consider while selecting the BOM. Now we'll check the direct online starter, how the circuit will be look like. If you see here, there are power circuit which RYBN, so phases 3 phase plus neutral. So normally we don't require neutral in starters, only the control circuit purpose we need only the neutral, otherwise RYB is enough for 3 phase motor. So here this is the main circuit with power circuit. From here we'll tap for one starter, from main bus bar we'll tap into MCCB. So here in this diagram we have the MCCB. You can take it here, replace with MCB, MPCB or SFU, so whatever we are selecting. So in this place we need to place that incomer of particular starter. So after this incomer we need to take to the main contactor. So from here we need to take all our RYB phases to the contactor. So once this is done, power circuit, so directly the oiler will be mounted onto the contactor. In some places we may have to use oiler kit, mounting kit separately, so that we can able to bridge between a contactor and oiler. So that type of things also is available. So while selecting, you need to check whether contactor and oiler suitability properly, so that it will insert directly to the contactor. We don't require any kits here. So for higher ratings, yes, of course we need to go for kits as per the OEM's recommendations. So once you connected directly to the contactor to the oiler, so there is a connection established between contactor and the oiler. So we need not do anything. The oiler itself is having additional probes which will go and connect to the contactor directly. From the oiler, so directly it will go to the termination point where we'll use the terminal block or bus connections to the remote connections, where the field connections can be taken from that termination point. So this is a power circuit normally the DOL starters. So only thing based on our ratings, contactors, oiler and the incomer of MCCB or MPCB will change the sizes, otherwise all the power circuit will be the remain same. So if you come to the control circuit here, so we have two push buttons here. One is the start button, another one is the stop button. So these two push buttons we can use to switch on the motor. So now the function of DOL or DOL we'll discuss. So DOL is a direct online starters. Everybody knows that one. It's a delta connections, which starting current will be 6 times more as per the full load current of the motor. So it will suddenly bulk load, you can see while starting current. So this is the DOL starter, 6 times it will go. And RDOL again reverse direct online. So where the application forward reverse, for example we are having a crane, how it will go, we need to understand first. One is the left right, it will can move for left and right, that is one axis will be there, and the forward and reverse, so this axis also is there, and up and down, so this also is there. So there are 3 axes we need to go for. So in that applications normally we'll go for RDOL applications. So RDOL can be taken reverse or forward, left and right, up and down. So these applications normally we have to go for reverse direct online starters. So compulsory crane applications RDOL only is suitable. So DOL will not be suitable for crane applications. So designer, we need to understand as a designer how the motor functions and what is the application requirement. Based on that we need to call it as a DOL or star delta or RDOL starters. So this is the main function, and designer should aware of this. Now we have done selection of the motors. We understood what is the type of motors, what are the starters, what is the type 2 coordination, type 1 coordination, everything we understood now. So finally we came to troubleshoot. What is the troubleshoot? So what are the problems we face during installation or running sites? So normally oiler tripping, while starting immediately the motor will not start, immediately it will trip. So that why it is happening, we need to understand first. So we need to check the set current in the oiler or FPCB. So whatever the current limiter we have provided to the starters, we need to check. So what is the set current we have made as per the full load current of the motor, we have set it or not. So that we need to check first. Second thing, so oilers we need to check whether proper oiler selected, whether it is a lesser rating of oiler which is not suitable to the motor. So if you select that one, again the oiler or MPCB may not support for particular application, particular load, so which induced current cannot able to handle, so immediately it will trip. So that is also sometimes happens. And check the termination. On the motor termination we have A1, B1, C1 terminals, so where we need to connect the right sequences there. the phase angle should be there, polarity correctly we need to connect there. If you interchange that one, the motor may go reverse direction, and because of that also unbalanced load or undercurrent, it may trip. If you have a single phasing preventer, that also act and it will trip. So because it's not reaching the required load, so hence to protect the motor, the OLR is having intelligence to trip that one. And the fourth one, check the rotor because the rotor tightness also will be there, the alignment if it is not proper, so that also creates overloading. The current may shoot up, then the OLR cannot able to handle, then based on set current it will trip. So we need to ensure the rotor is free hand. If you rotate also, the motor should rotate, then only the motor will not give any troubles. So that before starting of the motor, all these things we need to check. And check the winding resistance, whether winding is proper. Sometimes what happens, old motors will be installed and it may be in the godown, some water would have entered or moisture content would have been there inside the motor. As soon as we switch on because of the internal short, so the OLR may see the short current and peak current of during that time, so that time also it may trip. So we need to check the winding resistance, and inside nothing is there, then we can process for the further. These are the normally we'll face in the installation sites. So if you go through this one, then we can able to successfully complete the installation, and we can troubleshoot the issues whatever is there inside.